My musical inspirations are pretty broad. My project for Slowly is mainly autobiographical, so that's a lot of just stuff that happens in my life. But there have been occasions where I write from somebody else's perspective, or sometimes you can write from like a fantastical sort of fantasy point of view where you can use your imagination. I don't think it generally has to be about your life when you're writing, and there really is no rules. The best way to decide what you're writing on is to just start, and often bad ideas lead to good ones. So just put the pen to paper and the rest sort of will figure itself out eventually. I started playing drums in bands in high school, and that was where I thought that I was just going to stay. And then I was always interested in vocals and learning little guitar riffs and things, but never thought that I never had the confidence. And then, as I started to get a little bit better, the confidence grew, and I eventually showed someone a little song I'd recorded at home. I think programs like GarageBand are really great to start with because they're really intuitive. Anyone can have a look at GarageBand and kind of figure out how to record a song. And it's hard to play something in person to someone else. So, it was a huge tool for me, was recording at home to build the confidence and to show people without having to have shaky hands and a shaky voice and play a song. So, yeah. Music has completely changed my life. It's I did a business degree at uni, and I started a bunch of uni courses that went for 3 months, and I hated them. But as soon as music started I decided that it would become the focal point in my life. It really shifted the trajectory of everything. So if there was any advice I could give myself when I was a bit younger, it would have just been to 100% decide that, if that's the thing that I enjoy the most, if that's the thing that makes time pass really quickly, I think that's always a good indicator of something that you should be doing in your life, is when you look up at the clock and you go, oh my God, it's been 3 hours. It felt like 10 minutes. And that was always me with music, rehearsals, recording, everything. It always just felt very suspended in time. And so as soon as I made the decision that I was going to do that full time, and that it was, I didn't really care too much about money or anything else, everything started shifting. My main bit of advice for young artists would be to just throw yourself at it 100%, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think that's probably something that gets kind of gleamed over in the industry, where you don't get to hear that person's 70 demos that they wrote for the perfect album. You don't get to hear the 10 versions of the song that sucked before the best one. So I think at the same time that you have to be really open to making mistakes, you have to be self-critical, I think. And it's really nice to kind of celebrate your first idea because it feels right, but it's good to sort of take criticism on board and to try your hardest to kind of build a thick skin, especially when it comes to creative industries. You have to be able to take criticism on. It's something that's kind of inevitable if you're going to be in the public sphere. So try and take everything in your stride, and don't be afraid of mistakes, and never lose sight of your end goal. If I could open for any artist, I'd probably say Jeff Buckley. I really respect his songwriting so much. I think I'd just like to be at one of his shows. He's passed away now, but his music was incredible. Breaking apart his songs and trying to cover them and learn them has just opened my mind, and I get a little bit of insight into how he approached songwriting, and it's just incredible. So probably Jeff Buckley. Keeping well, probably it's the old adage of eating right, and then exercise. I'm a huge fan of exercise. I think it's actually really helped with my work and with songwriting because you can throw yourself at something all day and feel like you're going nowhere, and then exercise is a great way to just completely switch off and focus on something else, almost like meditation. So it kind of gives your brain a chance to kind of file all its thoughts accordingly, and then when you come back to, you sit back down with the song or the music, or you kind of can view it in new light. But yeah, I think a healthy eating and exercise regime only helps with creativity. During COVID, we kicked off a Patreon account, which has been really great for keeping us busy and also getting some extra income to keep us all afloat while we're not touring. I think adapting to changes in the market and this landscape of society, especially during a pandemic, is really important because it's not going to be the first time everything changes. And well, I really value the community around our band, so I don't want to lose that. And I'm a very social person. I like big groups of people, and I kind of feed off that energy. So when touring went away, I was wondering how we could have sort of regular catch-ups in a way with fans. And yeah, it's been a great way of keeping everyone in the loop of what we're up to, and also a great opportunity to look back at past work and break it down and explain some things to some of our fans. So yeah, I try and see things like this as an opportunity. I don't think, it's very rare that the world stops so that you can write a new album, and that you're stuck at home and you're forced to write. And I'm seeing that as a huge opportunity to, get a bit of a bank of material happening so that when the world does resume, we have something to show for it. So yeah, my advice during this time would be to see what opportunities it presents and how you can sort of get ahead of yourself using this time effectively, because it's very easy to sit on the couch and watch Netflix, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think I think it's a really exciting time actually for artists, and we'll see when we get on the other side of it, all the fantastic art that's going to be pouring into the world. So be one of them, be one of those artists. The ones that kind of poke out for my particular journey were all confidence-based. So I really struggled with trusting my own opinion and backing myself. I was always looking externally for validation for many years, and it was a bit of a turning point when the band started getting some recognition, and I was able to back myself a little bit more, and then it snowballed from there. But I wish I could have sort of sped up the process looking back. So my advice that you could probably take from my journey would be to trust yourself. But at the same time, I look at that period of self-doubt as very useful, because it made me hard on myself in a way that pushed me to be better. So it's a double-edged sword. So as much as you'd like to be where you are today, years ago, mentally, it takes, it's very gradual how you progress through this stuff. So I think you just have to trust the process. It's all useful, it's all good stuff. I really like working with youth today, and it's a real focus in my life, helping people find themselves creatively, and their confidence and their musical voice, because I felt like when I was growing up in high school, if I had met myself as a student back then, I was so passionate about music, I was obsessive, but it just wasn't with the school curriculum. It was with my own bands and bands that I loved, and you could probably see that as a teacher, but there weren't many that reached out that tried to kind of foster that into, or funnel it into something. And so it kind of fell, below the radar because it wasn't part of the school curriculum. So I think places like Jets are really important because they take things that are outside the school curriculum and interests that you may have, and they give it some structure, and you're able to learn from some, industry professionals and get some mentoring so that you can find your path a lot faster, and sort of hone those skills that aren't inside of our school curriculum at the moment. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jets. I'm a big fan of youth development. And yeah, I hope that you guys can pop into Jets, see the wonderful stuff that they're doing. Everything's sort of moving to an online space for this term. Obviously, we don't know what's happening in the future, but get involved and connect with other people that are interested in what you do, because that's one of the biggest drivers of creative influence. When you have other people around you that are also creating, it creates this beautiful competition, and friendly sort of way of impressing each other, and it's a great way to kind of fast track your creative journey. I know you'll figure it out, just like I did, eventually. But yeah, I think it's a great way to stay on track. Places like Jets. So yeah, I'll see you around there once it all kicks back off. See everybody.